Mercury stations retrograde from the 15th of March until the 7th of April 2025 in Pisces. And this retrograde period can feel particularly spicy because we're in eclipse season and Venus is also retrograde, and he will be in partnership with Venus, kind of like going through, backtracking through Pisces for his entire time to the 7th of April. So, what does this all mean? Well, firstly, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So, whenever we have energy retrograding or we've got a transit through Pisces, we know that we're being given the opportunity to wrap something up, something that is deeply subconscious, as well as something that is living in the collective unconscious. There's the ability for our sensitivity to be heightened in such a way that we can access parts of ourselves we can't normally see. So you might notice during this period the ways in which you speak, the ways in which you intuit and what you hear, and how these are being filtered through some really old programming that you're ready to let go of. There can also be energy around how you distrust your voice, how you don't fully trust or even fear your intuition. So pay attention. Like, everything is there to serve you and everything is there for your enlightenment. Whenever we have a Mercury retrograde period, remembering that Mercury is the planet that retrogrades the most, and it's also not something to be scared of, it's a period to process. It's almost like, okay, what do I need to learn? And as Mercury stations retrograde, as the planet's going backwards, it's like we're being called within and also into the past. The things that maybe we thought we'd settled, but actually we really haven't. I often think of Mercury retrograde period like an exam. It's almost like the universe shooting through, bringing up stuff from our past so that it can see, or we can see, what we still need to learn, what we still need to accept, and how we might be limiting our expression, like what needs to be released. Remembering that Mercury is the throat chakra. It's what we hear, it's what we speak, but it's also like, it's a bit of intuition as well. It's the intellect and the mind, and it holds both the rational as well as the intuitive, because it's like a radio receiver. Now, Mercury is debilitated in Pisces. It's not his favorite place to be. So the intellect can be dulled. The rationalizing mind can find it hard to have all the pieces of information in order to make a decision the way it would normally like to do. Like, it won't be able to put things into an Excel spreadsheet. It really won't be able to do a pros and cons list. It will be much more about relying on that part of you, maybe super uncomfortable in accessing, which is your intuition. So this will be even stronger because Neptune will also be sitting with Mercury retrograde. Now, this adds a little bit of energy to maybe what you might be experiencing or what might come to pass. Neptune represents patterns from our ancestry. It's the ruler of Pisces, so it makes the energy extra strong, and it actually makes Mercury extra uncomfortable. It makes us more sensitive. It makes us harder to grasp concepts we would normally get really, really easily. It can also, in a very real sense, make us late to things that we're normally on time for. So just be aware. Now, Neptune gives us realms to our ancestry, to our ancestral vasanas, like the karmic seeds that have come up to 7 generations before us that we're working through. So the ways in which maybe like a language wasn't understood, or there was an inability to speak up, or there was a fear of using your intuition, that type of thing. And it gets passed on from relatives we didn't even really know to us. It also gives us access to new realms of consciousness. So I would be really like, just pay attention to where Mercury retrograde brings up doubt around your intuition, where you may be second guessing nudges that you're getting. Particularly when they go against a preference or an existing preference or pattern you already have. Just see when deja vu pops up as well, because that will be a great indicator that things are being repeated. Now, energetically, you might feel a lot of this in your throat chakra. That can be like a cough, having to clear your throat a lot, it feeling like it's blocked, or even like the sinuses being blocked, or the ears being particularly blocked. All of this can be how the physical body is processing the cosmic energy. just be compassionate and kind to yourself. If the body is taking it, it's helping to balance some karmic energy. The opportunity of this Mercury retrograde is really to wrap up a big cycle of energy. It's a time which can be quite historic within and even in the collective. We're ending patterns that have been playing out in this collective unconscious as they express in your life and even in your family lineage. Just like I said, be aware, Pisces and Neptune will dull the usual quickness of the mind. So you can find like it's just slower to get things done. You may not need more time to speak, or if you're having to write for work or in something that you're doing, it's just a little bit more labored. You might have to go over it a couple of times. That said, there will be inspiration. So although there's maybe not the ability to put it into action, there'll be loads of inspiration coming through. So I'd be thinking about using this Mercury retrograde period as a time to like collect that inspiration. Just remember, as with every Mercury retrograde, it's not necessarily the right time to make big decisions. And by that, I mean signing legal contracts, however that manifests, buying big purchases that have a contract associated with them. It can also be a time where electronics break down. It's also not a great time to book long distance travel. That all said, listen to what comes to you and really tune into your intuition. Make the decision from that place.